working right now to further himself in education. And I'm excited not only to hear what he has to say now, but about what he's going to help us do in the future. Please welcome to the stage, Malkus.
Thank you all. Can you hear me? No. There we go. Thank you all for being here today and standing up for what you believe in. I'd like to talk a little bit about what America is and how we defend it. That seems like an elementary level question. What is America? We're all Americans. We all lived here our entire lives. But America is not just a country in the same way that China or Cuba are countries. America is not just a location in the way that Asia or Europe are locations. America is not just a collection of people who share a common society and set of laws. What defines America as a place of such historical significance, political clout, and philosophic discussion? The answer is simple. America was the first nation to recognize the consent of the governed in the creation of its government. America was the first nation founded on the premise that individuals are not granted their rights by a monarch, military general, or some other authoritarian force. Individuals are not only born with unalienable rights, and the obligation to resist the government which would take them away. Thomas Jefferson stated it most eloquently when he said, "I know of no redeeming repository of the ultimate powers of the society, but the people themselves." America and its Constitution are the embodiment of liberty, free enterprise, natural rights, and the protection of the sovereign individual. When we define America in this way, we can clearly see the path that must be taken to defend it. Although we must always guard against the threat of a foreign power which will destroy our livelihoods, we must recognize that the greatest threat to our country's defining principles will not be found overseas, but in Washington, D.C. We must be courageous and vigilant in the defense of liberty, not just the parts of liberty that are important to preserve our own individual lifestyles, or the parts of liberty that we find morally or socially acceptable. We must fight the destruction of our natural human rights, whether the opponents are Democrats or Republicans. We must resist the temptation to defile the rights of a silent minority, even when we are the majority. In a speech last week to the Southern Republicans Leadership Conference in New Orleans, Mississippi Governor Haley Barbour stated, quote, "We cannot let our party be torn apart by purity." Respectfully, Mr. Governor, I disagree. I firmly believe that the only way a truly conservative message will be heard in D.C. is for the voters in this country to stand on some semblance of principle and purity. The most unifying message that the American people can hear is the message provided by the Founding Fathers in the Constitution. So, on to the second part of that. How do we defend our rights? Quote Thomas Paine, "Those who expect to reap the blessings of freedom must undergo the fatigue of supporting it." Everyone who stands here today has taken the important first step of being active and informed, but we can all aspire to do more. Get involved in your local political process and ensure that the party platform is consistent with the values in the Constitution. Volunteer for candidates who have a clear principled message, who vow to take their own hands. Work to educate your peers in the philosophy of liberty, even your peers who are apathetic or who might disagree. Natural rights can only be preserved understand why. It's a piece of paper, and it has value because the government says that it's legal debts, or legal tender for all debts, public and private, and you must pay your taxes in it, or basically. It's printed on demand. $800 billion given to the TARP program, given to the banks, was paper currency, printed on demand at the will of opportunistic politicians who bought and paid for it. The money that bailed out Fannie and Freddie, the money that was given to the U.S. automakers, has all been printed on demand in similar fashion. If you want small government and constitutional restraint, you must be wary of the power to create